Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com.
The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Pat, and I'm here this morning with Matthew. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel, Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Matt.
And I've got a rattle space to help it will work okay, and my voice is not back from the cold, but I will try to make it work. For Springfield Daily Citizen Holocaust exhibit at library, spotlights American response before World War II. A myth persists in the retelling of World War II history, and that the horrors of the Holocaust in Nazi Germany were largely hidden from the public and not discovered by the U.S. until its successful victory in the European theater. A traveling exhibit produced by the U.S. Holocaust Museum seeks to change that. And the Springfield Greene County Library District will bolster that exhibit with a series of local speakers in Americans and the Holocaust, American life during the preludes of World War II is documented. The 1,100 square foot exhibit will be on display at the Library Center from June 15th to July 24th or 27th. Through photos, documents, and eyewitness accounts collected from the 30s and 40s, the exhibit shows that Americans knew about the Holocaust long before U.S. troops advanced on the beaches of Normandy. In the years before the country's entry into World War II, the U.S. was recovering from the Great Depression as as turmoil grew in Europe. Other countries implored for help from the U.S. and set off strong debate. According to information presented by the National World War II Museum in New Orleans, using the mantra of America First, emphasized keeping attention on its own citizens and not getting involved in foreign wars. Interventionists finding Europe's democratic nations as a critical line of defense advocated for aiding a war effort against Germany's increasing aggression. That debate was at the heart of what the U.S. and its citizens could do to help Jewish people fleeing the brutality. In some cases, Americans went out of their way to welcome refugees. In other cases, they fell prey to racism, anti-Semitism, and xenophobia. That is definitely something that is a core theme of this exhibit of what was being done or not done to help refugees, what was known and not known, said Brian Grubbs, director of the Library History Department. It is really setting out to combat the myth that Americans didn't know about the concentration camps or what was going on until the camps were liberated in 1945. The traveling exhibit is part of an exhibit on display at the U.S. Holocaust Museum, located in Washington, D.C. It was featured in 50 libraries across the country from 2021 to 2023. The Springfield stop is part of a second tour reaching another 50 libraries between 2024 and 2026. Grubb said the library has worked for about a year to book the traveling exhibit. The traveling exhibit is produced in partnership with the American Library Association. Similar exhibits such as Changing America, examining slavery, emancipation and the civil rights movement, 100 years later, and human origins about the meaning of being human have been featured in the past. Both of these exhibits were popular with patrons, Grubb said. This exhibit will be placed in the Library Center's reading room. Grubb said the space will be revamped and enclosed so that people can have space for personal reflection. There will also be ways to attendees can leave comments and thoughts about how the exhibit helps their understanding of the Holocaust. I think this is going to be one of those phenomenal experiences, Grubb said. It's a very hard and difficult topic in world history, but it's something that we need to understand, learn from, and work to make sure it doesn't happen again. I think that is all of that article, I think, looks like. On to Pat.
Ozark High School's district, the unexpected exit of Ozark High School principal prompted a series of 11th hour leadership shifts within the Ozark School District ahead of the upcoming school year. The changes began July 1st. Kent Sappington, Executive Director of Elementary Education, will serve as interim principal of Ozark High School following the late April announcement that Philip Witt was leaving to become Vice President of Academic Affairs at Crowder College. Sappington will serve as interim principal and executive Director of Secondary Learning during the 26-27 year, giving the district time to conduct a thorough search for Witt's replacement. Sappington was principal of Ozarks East Elementary from 2007 to 2019 when he moved into his current leadership role. Superintendent Lori Wilson acknowledged Sappington's experience as part of the district reorganization. His salary, which is based on the executive director scale, will be $150,808. Kent's relationship-focused leadership style, along with his strengths in system and processes, will provide valuable support to our secondary buildings and programs, Wilson said in a May 6 news release. I believe this approach provides an important level of stability and continuity for students, staffs, and family during the upcoming year. Wilson said the principal position will be posted in December or January to give the district adequate time to identify the best long-term candidate. Typically, the hiring decisions involving principals and top district leaders happen earlier in the spring semester. The Ozark Board of Education voted May 21st to hire Fernando Ceteta, a history teacher and coach at Nixa High School for more than a decade, as assistant principal of Ozark High School. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps and worked in the corporate field before becoming a teacher. Ceteta, who has bachelor's and master's degrees from Drury University, has a specialist degree in superintendency and administration from Missouri State University. Sappington said Ceteta's previous work and military experience will be a plus. His starting pay will be $93,393. He has worked with students both as teacher and a coach across multiple sports, he said in the release. He is a ball of energy, and I look forward to all he will bring to Ozark High School. Other leadership shifts will also announced. Trent Floyd, the Academy Explorations teacher, will serve as Dean of Students in the program. The role includes handling smaller discipline matters, facilitating shuttle buses, and enforcing policies, including cell phone restrictions. Anna Thurman, currently Executive Director of Student Services, will move into Sappington's current role as Executive Director of Elementary Education. Gerald Chambers, currently Executive Director of Secondary Learning, will move into Thurman's role as Executive Director. And this article is out of the Springfield Business Journal from May 27th at 10 a.m., submitted by Claudette Riley.
For the Springfield Daily Citizen, something kind of slightly unusual. Custom Steinway piano, one of new gifts announced for MSU's Alumni Center. Like other homes across Springfield, a living room inside the Clifton and Smart the Third University Advancement Center will have a piano. Missouri State University has commissioned the creation of a Steinway Spyro, I guess, piano for its new Alumni Center. The custom-built player piano, oh cool, will feature the university's Bearhead logo, nice, on the underside of the lid. Stephanie Smith, Executive Director of University Advancement Relations, said that that a performer can play it normally, or thanks to technology inside, the piano can be played remotely. There we go. We will have the ability to connect to concerts in the Lincoln Center and around the world, Smith said. We can play those concerts on a screen, and then the piano will actually play the concert. This instrument was among the new gifts announced Wednesday, May 27th, by officials with the Missouri State University Foundation. The piano, donated by Gordon Kinney and Laura Kinney, will be featured inside the Garnett family Bears Den, named for Mark Garnett, Diana Garnett, Kimberly Garnett, and Stephen Garnett Smith, formerly known as simply a living room. The den will be comfortable gathering space featuring couches, chairs, a large fireplace, and other luxury home comforts. Those gifts were announced during a brief ceremony Wednesday inside the center. The latest round of gifts pushes the amount raised for the $26 million center to more than $10 million, said President, where'd he go? Richard B. Williams. Private donations and the sale of the Meyer Alumni Center to Community Foundation of the Ozarks has raised a total of about $20 million for the center. That's just absolutely extraordinary, Williams said, and a reflection of the belief from our great alumni supporters and donors that Missouri State University has had a tremendous impact on their lives. No dollar amount of any of the gifts were announced during Wednesday's event. Other naming gifts announced include Bart Bailey and Amelia Bailey, that's executive breakout room, donated by Bart Bailey and Amelia Bailey. Counts, I guess. And the management office donated by Clark E. McNerney, or something like that. Two removals, which are golf carts used to transport people from the parking lots to different locations across campus. Mary Asher, Terry, and Ethel made donations for them. The center has already benefited from gifts over the previous months. It was named for SMART thanks to a 7-figure donation given anonymously. Several of the center's rooms and other features such as courtyards, conference rooms, and event center are named for other donors. And the foundation's boards, Surprise MSU Vice President of University Advancement, done with a donation to name the office suite after him in recognition of more than 41 years of service. Construction on the track for, I think that is basically it, I think, for that one. On to Pat again.
Well, this will be two articles connected, one just up to, or describing up to a memorial service that took place yesterday, and then one describing the memorial service itself. For his service and sacrifice, this is a Pearl Harbor Remembrance Ceremony marks 84 years for this young man. The remains of a 17-year-old sailor killed during World War II attack on Pearl Harbor are returning home more than 84 years later for a proper burial. Royal Bradford Luker will be laid to rest with full military honors in Plainview, Arkansas on May 30th, according to his obituary. He will be buried alongside of his parents, including his father, who was a World War I veteran. As a fireman, third class in the United States Navy, aboard the USS West Virginia, he gave his all and was killed in the line of duty during the attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii on December 7th, 1941. His obituary from Cornwell Funeral Homes stated, his burial was arranged after modern forensic testing and DNA analysis comparing his remains with DNA from living relatives confirmed his identity decades later, the obituary said. For his service and sacrifice, Luker reportedly received numerous military honors, including the Purple Heart awarded to those wounded or killed in combat, and the Navy Presidential Unit Citation, which recognizes extraordinary heroism by military units under enemy fire. Other honors and awards listed in his obituary include the Gold Star Veteran Designation, Combat Action Ribbon, Navy Expeditionary Medal, Navy Good Conduct Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal, American Campaign Medal, and World War II Victory Medal. Luker was among 106 crewmen killed when the USS West Virginia was struck during the Japan's surprise assault on Pearl Harbor. For decades, he was listed as killed in action, while his remains were unidentified and interred as unknown at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, according to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. His name was also memorialized on the Courts of the Missing here. Nearly 82 years after his death, Luker was officially accounted for on May 29th, 2024, after authorities exhumed numerous caskets for modern forensic testing by DNA, according to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency. The teen sailor was son of George F. Luker, a World War I veteran, and Nettie Estelle David Luker, according to his obituary. Family members, some of whom lived in Arkansas during his deployment, reportedly said Luker was remembered with pride and love. According to the obituary, he is survived by two nephews, Donald Bradford Henderson and John Luker, as well as a niece, Becky Downen Lensing. More than 80 years later, DNA from Royal Luker and a family's willingness to share their DNA bridged the gap between loss and knowing. His obituary stated he will now be returned home and laid to rest. According to the U.S. Navy, the USS West Virginia was moored at Ford Island in 1941 when Japanese aircraft launched torpedoes against the battleship. The ship suffered multiple torpedo hits and eventually sank to the shallow harbor. Then, after yesterday, this actually is out of the Ozarks State Police Facebook page. Today, the remains of fallen U.S. naval sailor were flown into Little Rock's Clinton National Airport, greeted with the reverent hero's welcome to the state he left more than 80 years ago as a teenager. Fireman Third Class Royal Bradford Luker, just 17 years old when he was killed during the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. He was one of 106 crewmen on the USS West Virginia who were killed in the attack. For decades, he was listed as killed in action, but his remains were deemed non-recoverable. Through recent advancements in DNA technology and work of the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, F3C Luker was identified. In the years since date that will live in infamy, F3C Luker was awarded numerous honors for his valor and sacrifice, including the Purple Heart. A procession by Arkansas State Police, Little Rock Police Department, and other law enforcement agencies accompanied F3 Luker today on the final leg of his trip from Little Rock to Dardanelle. Graveside services with full military honors will be held at 2 p.m. Saturday, May 30th, 2026 at New Bethel Cemetery near Plainview in Yell County. His return home is a solemn reminder that America does not forget those who give their lives in service to our nation. Matt.
Different track there. Nine Lives Tavern to bring board games, local liquor to downtown Ozark. The new bar is opening this summer in one of downtown Ozark's historic buildings. Nine Lives Tavern, 107 West Church Street, is aiming for a Cheers-like atmosphere, encouraging guests to linger and mingle over board games and books. Amos and Shelby Hale were newlyweds when they decided to take on the venture. Iguana Roja restaurant, the property's previous tenants, announced it was closing in November 2025, a few weeks after the couple married. It fell on our laps, as Shelby Hale said. We pretty much looked at each other, and when we saw that announcement and said, oh, that would be a great location. Nine Lives Tavern plans to serve a variety of valents, including liquor from craft distilleries local to Springfield and Missouri. Amos Hale, who has experienced bartending, said the building has filed paperwork for a liquor license and is waiting for approval. I don't English Tavern vibe is the next part. Opening a bar wasn't part of the Hales' 5-year plan after getting married, although they had talked about opening a hobby or a craft store together. They fell in love with the Church Street storefront with its stained glass, exposed brick and woodwork, and they envisioned an old English tavern vibe in the space. It's going to be a place where guests can come in and play games or relax, Shelby Hill said. The idea is to encourage visitors to bring their own games with specials on dedicated cards and board game nights. The property is around 3,500 square feet and was built in 1905, according to records from the Christian County Assessor's Office. A room on the northeast side of the dining area was originally the cabin with a riverboat, Amos Hale said. It will be available for reservations. Nine Lives Tavern is looking for interesting ways to be involved in the community, Hale said, from hosting fundraisers to celebrating with couples who get married in the historic courthouse across the street. Just since we've been in here working, I've seen 2 or 3 small wedding ceremonies in the gazebo across there, so we're looking to have some amount of celebratory drinks and newlyweds, he said. As Unlane's Tavern name indicates, the owners are cat lovers. They would like to host fundraising nights and possibly adopting events in cooperation with local rescues. And then I think that is the end of the article there, it looks like. On to Pat.
Okay, this article is out of the Springfield News-Leader, and my little computer's running a little slow this morning, so I'm going to get to the beginning of it. Missouri bill seeks to curb lawsuits aimed at silencing critics. Missouri bill waiting for the governor's signature would strengthen protection against lawsuits targeting free speech. The Missouri bill awaiting action from Governor Mike Keogh would give judges broader power to quickly dismiss lawsuits designed to chill speech, replacing what supporters have long described as among the weakest anti-SLAPP laws in the country. The legislation, sponsored by Republican State Senator Mike Henderson of Deloge, would repeal Missouri's current anti-SLAPP law and replace it with the Uniform Public Expressions Protection Act, a model statute meant to curb lawsuits filed to intimidate critics, activists, journalists, or others speaking on matters of public concern. So-called SLAPP lawsuits, short for Strategic Lawsuits Against Public Participation, are generally claims brought not necessarily to win in court, but to burden defendants with legal costs and pressure them into silence or a settlement. Missouri has had its anti-SLAPP law on the books for years, but it applies narrowly. Henderson's bill would expand the law to cover civil actions based on communications in government proceedings, speech about issues under consideration by government bodies, and the exercise of speech, press, assembly, petition, or association rights on matters of public concern. The bill passed the Senate 30-0 in April and cleared the House 135-4 on the final of legislative session earlier this month. The proposal was also added as an amendment to larger bill pertaining to civil proceedings. Obviously, this proposal, the final day of legislative session in May. If signed by Keogh, it would apply to civil actions filed or claims asserted on or after August the 28th. Supporters say the change would bring Missouri closer to states with stronger protections against lawsuits that use litigation itself as punishment. This bill, at long last, gives it some bite and would cause Missouri to catch up with the roughly 30 other states with strong laws protecting citizens' right to free speech. Eric Westlander, a Kansas attorney who has handled prominent anti-SLAPP cases, previously told The Independent. Under the bill, someone sued over speech covered by the law could file a special motion to dismiss within 60 days of being served. Once that motion is filed, discovery and most other court proceedings would generally pause while the judge decides whether the case can continue. A hearing would generally have to be held within 60 days of the motion, with a ruling due within 60 days after the hearing. For a lawsuit to survive, the plaintiffs would have to show enough evidence at the outset to support each required element of the claim. A judge also could dismiss the case if the defendant shows the claim is legally deficient and that there is no genuine dispute over material facts. If the defendant wins, the case is dismissed with prejudice and the defendant is entitled to recover costs, reasonable attorney fees, and litigation expenses tied to the motion. If the plaintiff defeats the motion, the plaintiff can recover costs and fees only if the court finds the motion was frivolous or filed solely to delay the case. That difference drew questions during House debate on the last day of the legislative session. State Representative David Tyson Smith, a Columbia, asked how the fee provision would work and whether the bill applied only to defamation and slander cases. State Representative Ben Keithley, a Chesterfield Republican who handled the bill in the House, said defamation and slander are examples of claims that would be affected, but the bill is broader than that. It's to stop any lawsuit related to speech-based content, Keithley said during the debate. Keithley said the bill is aimed at cases where a person is sued over constitutionally protected speech and forced into expensive litigation before a court determines whether the claim has merit. The idea is to avoid long, protracted litigation for things that are meant to just extract settlements rather than result in a ruling on the merits. The legislation includes several exceptions. It would not apply to lawsuits against government bodies or public employees acting in their official capacity. It also would not apply to certain government enforcement actions brought to protect against an imminent threat to public health or safety. The bill also includes some claims against people or businesses primarily engaged in selling or leasing goods or services when the claim arises from communications related to those sales or leases. But the legislation specifies that goods or services do not include dramatic, literary, musical, political, journalistic, or artistic work. In practical terms, supporters say, the bill would force speech-related lawsuits to clear an early legal threshold before defendants are required to go through discovery, depositions, and prolonged litigation. Westlander says the attorney fee provision is central to that deterrent effect. If this bill becomes law, Missouri attorneys will need to sit up and take notice Don't blindly agree to your client's request to haul off and file a defamation lawsuit against a client's critics if you haven't done your homework and can't establish each and every element of your claim. Westlander previously told the Independent, otherwise you may end up with an order to pay the defendant's attorney's fees. Westlander, a former journalist who has represented the Independent in the past, was among the attorneys awarded legal fees after Senate State Majority Leader Jim Denning's defamation lawsuit against Kansas City Star columnist Steve Rose, and the newspaper was dismissed under Kansas anti-SLAPP law. Missouri Right to Life and the Missouri Press Association have been among the groups that pushed for stronger anti-SLAPP protection in recent years. Similar proposals have advanced before but did not reach the governor's desk. During the House debate, Tyson Smith noted that the bill had drawn support in committee from groups that often find themselves on opposite sides of political fights. Keithley said that reflected the nature of the issue. That's generally, Keithley said, been nonpartisan, broad-based support. This article, again, was in the Springfield News-Leader submitted and posted this morning at 3:50 a.m. by Jason Hancock.
From Springfield Daily Citizen, the Steve Pokin column, Poking Around. Say, can you see, it says, is a flagpole still standing in front of yard of Nick's a man who battled HOA. It was 1 year ago that Michael Durbin, I believe it is, Nixa was battling his Forest Heights Homeowners Association over the flagpole he placed in his front yard. He had achieved his goal of erecting the pole before his 18-year-old son went off to boot camp June 1st, 2025. But the Homeowners Association, managed by Maples Properties, because the development is not yet built out, had a problem that with Durbin's flagpole. It told Durbin he had to first apply to the property management company, which would consider the application. Durbin knew all this, but had already concluded it was a right and not a privilege to put a flagpole in his front yard. He even quoted the federal Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005. In summary, according to, what is this? Commerce.gov, the act says, a condominium association, cooperative association, or residential real estate management association may not adopt or enforce any policy or enter into any agreement that would restrict or prevent an association member from displaying the U.S. flag on residential property within the association, with respect to which such member has a separate ownership in interest or a right to exclusive possession or use. Durbin filled out the application, but crossed out the word application and replaced it with homeowner's declaration. He provided all the information sought, but declared the flagpole's existence instead of applying for its approval. He told the Homeowners Association its architecture committee could keep the paperwork for record keeping. The association fined him, looks like, $100, that's where we left this drama a year ago. The pole was up along with two flags, Old Glory and Durban's own Defund the HOA flag. I know a real cliffhanger. It's kind of a standoff, he says. What's happened since? Well, nothing. It's kind of a standoff, says Durban 46, a former Nexus City Councilman serving from 2008 to 2010. When I drove into his home on Thursday, May 28th, the flagpole was up with an American flag flying. The Defund the HOA flag was gone only because it had been tattered by the wind. It was a cheap Amazon thing, he says. He still has a $100 fine pending. No late fees have been added. I'm just not going to pay, he says. His son is still in the Army. He's a nurse in San Antonio, looks like. Durban has not heard a word from Maples Properties. Since letters of support, but there was one action to taken. State Senator Mike Moon entered the fray. Moon is a Republican from Ash Grove. Durban lives in his district. Moon apparently saw media coverage of Durban's flagpole fight and wrote a letter to the Homeowners Association in support of Durban. Moon sent Durban a copy. Durban figures the letter helps his cause. In my view, I tell him, I wouldn't call this a standoff. It looks to me like you won. He would neither confirm nor deny. This is Poking Around column number 358. That is the end of his column at the moment. On back to Pat again.
And today in history, my goodness, in 1980, CNN, the cable news network, the world's first 24-hour television news network, made its debut June 1st, 1980. The network signed on from its headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, with a lead story about the attempted assassination of civil rights leader Vernon Jordan. CNN went on to change the notion that news could only be reported at fixed times throughout the day. At the time of CNN's launch, TV news was dominated by three major networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, and their nightly 30-minute broadcasts. CNN was the brainchild of Robert Ted Turner, a colorful, outspoken businessman dubbed Mouth of the South. Turner was born on November 1938 in Cincinnati, Ohio, and as a child moved with his family to Georgia, where his father ran a successful billboard advertising company. In 1977, Turner gained international fame when he sailed his yacht to victory in the prestigious America's Cup race. Also, today in history, in 1779, Benedict Arnold was court-martialed. The court-martial of Benedict Arnold convened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After a relatively clean history, I'm going to find my place again here. After a relatively clean record in the early days of the American Revolution, Arnold was charged with 13 counts of misbehavior, including misusing government wagons and illegally buying and selling goods. Although his notorious betrayal was still many months away, Arnold's resentment over this order and the perceived mistreatment by the American Army would fuel his traitorous decision. Abruptly interrupted at its outset by a British attack north of New York City, the court-martial did not get underway again until December 23rd in Morristown, New Jersey. Although Arnold was cleared of most charges, General George Washington issued a reprimand against him, and Arnold became increasingly angered. While on a trip to the important West Point base to make sure that it could withstand a British attack, Arnold stewed over his slight by Washington and the Americans. He thought that he would never be properly rewarded or acknowledged for his military success on their behalf. He began corresponding with British spies about the responsibility of changing size, or the possibility of changing size. He negotiated his defection to the British and the subversion of West Point over several months. The British already held control of New York City and believed that by taking West Point, they could effectively cut off America's New England forces from the rest of the fledgling nation. In August of 1780, Sir Henry Clinton offered Arnold 20,000 pounds for delivering West Point and 3,000 troops. Arnold told George Washington that West Point was adequately prepared for an attack, even though he was busy making sure that it was not. Arnold's defection was revealed to the Americans when British officer John Andre, acting as a messenger, was robbed by AWOL Americans working as pirates in the woods north of New York City. At the British surrender of Yorktown, Benedict Arnold was burned in effigy, and his name has since been synonymous with traitor. And in 1871, on this date, John Wesley Hardin moved to Abilene, Kansas, and befriended Wild Bill Hickok. They could say the rest is history. Hardin revealed a tendency towards violent rages at an early age. When he was 14, he nearly killed another boy in a fight over a girl, stabbing his victim with a knife. A year later, he shot a black man to death after the two tangled in a wrestling match. By the time he finally went to prison in 1878, Hardin claimed to have killed 44 men. The outlaw may have been exaggerating, though historians have positively confirmed about half that number. In 1871, when Hardin was 18 years old, a Texas rancher hired the young gunman as a trail boss for a cattle drive up the Chisholm Trail to Abilene. Hardin was eager to get out of Texas. A few days earlier, he had murdered a Texas State Police guard who was transferring him to Waco for a trial. Hardin needed to lay low, but he proved incapable of keeping his hot temper under control for long. During the cattle drive, a Mexican herd crowded Hardin's animals from behind. Hardin complained to the Mexican in charge of the other herd, and when the exchange grew heated, shot him through the heart. When Hardin and his herd arrived at Abilene, Kansas on this day in 1871, the town marshal, Wild Bill Hickok, was unconcerned with prosecuting a murder that had taken place outside of his jurisdiction. To the contrary, he took an almost paternal interest into the younger gunslinger Hardin, was 16 years his junior, and the two men struck up an uneasy friendship. Like many of the early Western lawmen, Wild Bill Hickok had won a formidable reputation by committing several killings of his own. He may have seen something of himself in Hardin, believing he was a hot-tempered young man who would eventually grow up to be a reasonably useful and law-abiding citizen. For his part, Hardin was simply proud to be celebrated or associated with the celebrated gunfighter. In 1926, Marilyn Monroe was born under the name of Norma Jean Mortensen. And in 1941, Crete fell to German forces in World War II. Writer and lecturer Helen Keller died in 1968. And on this day in 1974, and a lot of people can owe their life to this man. Dr. Heimlich first publishes his technique for rescuing choking victims. On June 1, 1974, the stop choking technique invented by Cincinnati surgeon Henry J. Heimlich is published in the Medical Journal of Emergency Medicine. The Heimlich maneuver, which involves thrusting inward and upward on the abdomen of choking victims, becomes the go-to method for saving lives. He shared his informal findings in an essay he wrote for June 1974 issue of the journal called Pop Goes the Café Coronary. The term café coronaire syndrome refers to the act of a person choking while eating at a restaurant and observers thinking the choker is suffering from a heart attack. The established professional medical treatment would be a tracheostomy, which involves the insertion of a large caliber hypodermic needle into the trachea to provide a temporary airway, something a doctor can do. What's really needed is a first aid procedure that doesn't require specialized instruments or equipment and can be performed by any informed layman or even considered by a physician before resorting to a tracheostomy with its attendant hazards. Heimlich wrote in the article, so experimentally at least, I have developed a procedure. It's been tested only on dogs, but I believe the logic of the concept and favorable findings warrant public dissemination. And that was back in 1974.
It was earlier than that.
Pardon?
I was it was an earlier.
I would have thought so.
Wow, I can't believe it was that late. I'm amazed.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the things, opening statements in the Scott Peterson file, the Scott Peterson murder trial on June 1st, 2004, accused of murdering his wife Lacey and the couple's unborn son. Mr. Peterson was, let me read more of this. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. This trial was highly publicized back in 2004. So, Matt.
Slightly kind of a sponsored one. If you're looking to maybe build a home or looking for homes, you might want to know about this one. The HBA Parade of Homes is back June 5th through 7th, presented by Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield. This post was paid for and produced by the Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield. The Daily Citizen newsroom was not involved in the creation of this content. The doors to Springfield's finest craftsmanship, architecture, and design are open. And once again, the Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield, HBA, is excited to invite you to take a step inside the Parade of Homes presented by the Mills Foundation, and mark your calendars for June 5th to 7th, 2026. This year's parade will feature 8 extraordinary homes with prices ranging from like $200,000 to $1.5 million. Visitors will experience a variety of homes from stylish, budget-friendly options to move-in ready buildings to stunning custom luxury residences. Whether you are planning to build, ready to buy, or simply exploring the latest trends in design and construction, the Parade of Homes offers inspiration around every corner. The parade will showcase the exceptional work of many of the area's HBA builders. Attendees will have the opportunity to tour homes from Bustle Building Incorporated, Flint Rock Homes, Willigan Building or something company, Michael Homes, settler structures, and 3 stone homes. Each showcases unique design, quality, and innovation. Home locations. Battlefield, there's one there. Nixa, and in Rogersville, Springfield. Plan your visit with ease. The Parade of Homes mobile app makes planning your tour simple. With the app, users can search HBA, the Parade of Homes in your mobile device's app store to get started. Must-see event. The Parade of Homes provides a unique opportunity to meet the professionals who bring dream homes to life. Explore Springfield's finest homes and find the perfect inspiration for your next build, buy or design project. Grab your tickets and plan your route today at hbaspringfield.com/ what is that? Well, you can get it from there. There's a bigger URL, but that will get you to the site. You can probably find it that way. After all, when it comes to finding your perfect home, see it in person makes all the difference. About the Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield. The Greater Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to helping those in our community achieve the dream of home ownership. Chartered in 1954, HBA Springfield is home to approximately 350 members, representing builders, developers, remodelers, and associates in all areas of the residential construction and housing industries. We seek to build our community through quality workmanship with emphasis on safety and education. And again, this post was paid for and produced by Home Builders Association of Greater Springfield, partners, and the Springfield Daily Citizen. The Daily Citizen's newsroom was not involved in the creation of this content. To be accepted, sponsored content must be consistent with the news or feature topics and the Springfield-centric geography of the Daily Citizen. For questions or information about sponsors' content, please contact Daily Citizen CEO David Stoffler at sfdailycitizen.org, it looks like. And to become a Daily Citizen partner, please contact Partnership Sales Manager John Tate at sfdailycitizen.org. And that is all for that sponsored one. Just thought people might find that interesting. Back to Pat.
Roundtree Brewery announces new pizza kitchens at lunch hours. This is just a short articles regarding new businesses and updates about current businesses. This week in 417 Food News, Roundtree gets another lunch spot, and a Chinese restaurant is coming soon to Battlefield Mall. Plus, a historic Springfield Steak and Shake is now offering car hop services. Roundtree Brewery announces lunch hours. Ty and Timber's new pizza kitchen at 1451 East Cherry is now serving up lunch Tuesday through Sunday. The brewery will be slinging slices out of its second building alongside local lagers, and ales. Tuesday through Saturday, the Pizza Kitchen will open at 11 a.m. and noon on Sundays, according to a Facebook post. According to previous News-Leader reporting, Tie & Timber will offer 3 types of pizzas: Detroit, California round, and a thin and crispy tavern style. Guests can enjoy everything from your typical toppings like pepperoni and meat lovers to unique combinations like barbecue chicken, pepperoni with ricotta cheese, basil and hot honey, and pesto and tomato jam. Kurt and Jen Marshall opened the brewery in April of 2018, according to previous News-Leader reporting. After over a year of working with the neighborhood and the city to allow them to brew beer in that area. Since then, Tie & Timber has become a Roundtree hub known for live music, local beer, and ample seating. Chinese restaurant to open in Battlefield Mall. A new Chinese restaurant is coming soon to Battlefield Mall, 2825 South Glenstone, according to signage and City of Springfield permit information. China Walk will be taking the place of Max Orient in Battlefield Mall's dining pavilion. According to permit information on when Chinese Walk received its food license May 5th and its business license May 11th. The business is operating under the name China Walk Battlefield LLC, which was registered with Missouri Secretary of State's office in February of 2025. Max Orient closed in the mall on March 31st after more than 20 years there. However, those craving its flavors don't have to mourn. Its brick and mortar location on the corner of Battlefield Road and National Avenue, 1155 East Battlefield Road, is still running. It is open 11:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Steak and Shake along Route 66 brings back car hops. Didn't get enough nostalgia through the Route 66 Centennial Kickoff celebration in April. A Springfield Steak and Shake location is bringing back car hops, according to a Facebook post. The Steak and Shake at the corner of National Avenue and St. Louis Street, 1158 East St. Louis Street, will be offering car hop services where guests simply pull in, roll down your window, and let us bring the flavor straight to you, the post said. Steak and Shake locations nationwide brought back car hops briefly during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic. The car hop service had been a part of the chain's operation from its start in 1934 until 1980s, according to reporting from the Indy Star. The 1158 East St. Louis location is on historic Route 66 with Queens Gate to the east and Birthplace Plaza to the west. It was built in 1962 and was the chain's first location in Springfield, according to News-Leader reporting from February 62. In 2006, the restaurant boasted numerous original features, including a poured concrete floor, porcelain exterior wall panels, and a plate glass windows, according to News-Leader reporting. In 2012, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places as a Route 66 Steak and Shake. Matt?
Well, cool. Didn't know they were doing that. That's awesome.
I know.
Not sure if I've been to that one or not. On a sadder note, a pedestrian struck by, from the Daily Citizen, pedestrian struck by a vehicle last week where brothers both have died. The pedestrians who were struck by a vehicle while crossing the road last week were brothers who were walking home after seeing Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu on opening night, according to a GoFundMe page created by their sister. Police say Christian Berry, 32, and William Turner, 28, were attempting to cross a road at the intersection of Chestnut Expressway and Grant Avenue when a vehicle traveling east on Chestnut hit the brothers around 9:50 p.m. May 21st. They were transported to a hospital where both died. Barry died soon after the crash. Turner died on Monday, May 25th, according to a news release from the Springfield Police Department. Nina Greger, their sister, who created the GoFundMe to help cover their services, wrote this about her brothers. Our brother Christian, at 32 years old and one of the most genuinely optimistic people I've ever known. He loved life loudly. It was so easygoing and laid back, always talking, always laughing, endlessly kind. He was a passionate, passionate about his favorite shows, and one of his biggest interests was collecting and building not sure, Gundam models. Okay. Our brother William is 28. He and Christian were inspirational best friends, separate best friends their whole lives. William is kind, sensitive, and deeply curious about the world. They were complimented each other in every way. William loves video games, making friends, and sharing interests with the people around him. Brothers were organ donors. According to an update on the GoFundMe page, both brothers were organ donors. Turner had a Hero's Walk today, honoring his life and his choice, given the gift of life to others as organ donor was his brother has just states both are saving lives with organs now. As of Wednesday afternoon, the GoFundMe had raised about of the goal, so pretty close. It looks like every bit of support is him reaching out in the dark to us right now. The page reads in part, they deserved to make it home. No mother should have to bury her children. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Please continue to investigate. According to a news release from the Springfield Police Department, the vehicle that struck the brothers, a 2018 Dodge Charger, was driven by a 17-year-old. This was Springfield's 7th fatal motor vehicle crash in 2026, resulting in 8 deaths, looks like. The circumstances of the crash are part of an ongoing investigation, according to the police. Anyone with other information is asked to contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810 or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-1. Let's see, what is that? Tips, or 8476, or online at what the heck is this? Okay, it's I'm not quite sure what the website is. Tips.com, I think, something like that. I have trouble with the URLs.
Yeah.
I think it's tips.
P3tips.com.
That's it. Yeah, the real URLs look strange. Sorry, guys. And that is it for that article. I'm back to Pat again.
With the with July 4th coming up not too far away and our nation's 250th anniversary, Bolivar, Missouri's Rotary Club has announced that musical duo Carly and James will be bringing their blend of music to the city's annual Celebration of Freedom event on Independence Day. This article is out of Ozarks First, submitted by Russell Bell. The Rotary Club says in a press release that the event will begin at 5:30 p.m. on July 4th at Southwest Baptist University's campus in Bolivar, with fireworks beginning at dusk. The musical duo, Carly and James, is said to have a blend of genre of country music and indie rock. Carly Chain of the musical duo is said to be from Bolivar, who moved to Nashville at 15 to pursue a full-time music career. The release states that Chain is known for her soprano voice and songwriting, with early days performing in her parents' Truman Lake Opry show. The second member of the duo, James Sinclair Scott, is known as being a United Kingdom-based artist with indie rock influences. Carly and James will bring great energy to this year's celebration of freedom as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, said Krista Banks, president-elect of the Bolivar Rotary Club. Welcoming Carly back as a celebrated artist makes this year's Independence Day celebration even more special. Officials say in the release that the event will begin at 5:30 with food vendors and entertainment starting at the main stage from 6 to 7:45. A veteran recognition program which begins at 8 p.m. is said to feature keynote speaker Vietnam veteran Dan Bunch. Join us to celebrate our country's freedom, honor our veterans, support local nonprofits, and enjoy fellowship and family and friends. Also from Ozarks First, over the weekend, crews rescued 2 people and a dog from floodwaters, and this was posted this morning at 9:47 by Drew Tassett in the Ozarks First publication. Camden County, Missouri. Fire crews in Camden County successfully rescued 2 people and a dog trapped in dangerous rushing floodwaters Sunday night. The Northwest Camden County Fire Protection District said in a social media post that 2 individuals and a dog were reported trapped in rising floodwaters in the Fiery Fork Conservation Area at around 10 p.m. on Sunday. Fire units arrived and quickly found the individuals. Crews positioned themselves downstream with rope systems in place, while 2 rescuers went into the water upstream to reach the victims. The rescuers were able to secure the victims among the fast-moving water. The Missouri State Water Patrol then arrived with a rescue boat and got the victims and the dog back to shore. There were no reported injuries, according to the Fire Protection District. The event highlights the dangers of swift-moving floodwaters, especially during periods of rainfall, said NCCFPD. Conditions can change rapidly and become life-threatening in a matter of moments, not only for those caught in the water, but also for the rescuers working to save them. This was a low-frequency, high-risk incident that required coordination, training, and teamwork from all personnel on scene. NCCFPD is also reminding people to never attempt to drive in or walk through flooded areas. Be aware that rising water can become powerful and unpredictable, and to always respect posted warnings and changing weather conditions. The Kaufman Bend Fire Association, the Missouri State Water Patrol, Mercy Ambulance, and the Camden County's Sheriff's Office all assisted the NCCFPD in the rescue operation. This again was from Ozarks First. Steve, or Matt, go poking around with Steve.
Indeed, yes. Another column of his that looks interesting. Poking around, here's your primer on how emergency sirens work in Greene County and when they're tested. If you ever wondered about the emergency sirens in Greene County and how many there are and when they go off and who turns them on, boy, do I have a story for you. First of all, the goal of the sirens is to alert people who are outside to dangerous weather so they can go inside, preferably into a sturdy building where they can hunker down and gather more information about the foreboding weather. Again, the primary goal is not to alert people already inside. They're already where they need to be. In fact, if you're inside, there's a far greater chance you won't even hear the emergency sirens, says Rosie looks like Bell, maybe, community engagement specialist with the Springfield Green County Office of Emergency Management. If they're indoors, they might not hear it, and that's because it's designed to be an outdoor warning system, not an indoor warning system. Bell says, we tell people to have multiple methods of getting information on disasters, weather, and events. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association Weather Radio is the most accurate, most reliable, and fastest way of getting information. The emergency sirens don't cover whole county. There are 114 emergency sirens in Greene County. Most are about 25 feet tall and have a sound radius of about a mile. Does that cover every square mile of Greene County? No, it doesn't. They're expensive, and a minimum of $25,000 to install. The sirens are mostly found in heavily populated areas. There are vast areas of unpopulated Greene County that are not under any government control other than county commission that do not have sirens, Bell tells me. The sirens are placed where there are most people. Who turns them on? Of the 114 sirens, the Springfield Greene County Office of Emergency Management controls 4 of them. The other 10 are within the city of Republic, and Republic has decided to maintain autonomy to activate their own sirens, which is absolutely perfectly fine, Bell says. The Springfield Greene County Office of Emergency Management does not control any of the sirens in Rogersville. That's because all the sirens in Rogersville are in Webster County. Sirens cycled on and off for 45 minutes during April 29th, 2025. Severe storm. When are the sirens activated? There are several reasons. When the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning of an area in the path of the storm, or if a tornado is already in the area, or when a trained spotter reports rotation, a funnel cloud, or a tornado in jurisdiction. This might include storms tracking toward the jurisdiction from within Greene County or from adjacent counties. Okay, what's a trained spotter? Do they have a class or something? Yes, Bell tells me. The class is offered by the National Weather Service. Many trained spotters are members of the law enforcement or fire personnel. In addition, the sirens go off when the National Weather Service or a trained spotter issues warnings of an approaching thunderstorm that has life-threatening winds of about 75 miles per hour or more. They also would go off, for example, if a foreign adversary were to launch a missile attack on Springfield, Missouri. The tone of the sirens would be the same, with the main objective, get indoors, would be the same. When the sirens are turned on, they operate in a cycle of 3 minutes or 3 minutes off, until the extreme weather warning ends. If you think about the April 29th storm last year, number 25, it was 45 minutes of that 3 minutes on and 3 minutes off cycle, Bell says. What in the heck? I was thinking, I can't pronounce. A spokesman for the Springfield Greene County Office of Emergency tells me the sirens can overheat if they run continuously. The cities own and maintain the sirens. The emergency sirens also are turned on for monthly testing. My plan is to impress my friends next month by mysteriously and dramatically predicting that the sirens will erupt at 10 a.m. on the second Wednesday of the month. That just happens to be when they're regularly tested, unless it's under 32 degrees, because a cold weather test could damage the sirens, and there's no test if it's cloudy or there's bad weather but not dangerous weather. Activating the sirens in this situation might simply confuse people. Who owns and maintains the sirens? The cities where they are located. They maintain them. They make sure they're operational, Bell says. They do everything to place them and to take care of them, all of that. We simply push the button under the parameters that we've been given to turn them on. We are on watch 24/7. If I hear a siren go on and then quickly go off, does it mean it's broken? No, sirens also are randomly tested. Someone hits a switch to see if they quickly turn on, and just as importantly, quickly turn off. If they don't, there's a problem. This is called a quiet test. When the sirens are tested once a month, how many typically fail? Rarely do they fail, Bell says. A more common complaint, she says, is that people who were indoors will say they never heard them after being informed by others who were outdoors that the sirens were blaring. What if home isn't such a safe place? Maybe you live in a mobile home and park. Home really isn't a great place to be during dangerous weather like a tornado. The Springfield Greene County Office of Emergency Management has a list of 15 safe rooms. 14 of the 15 are at public schools. The 15th is the O'Reilly Family Event Center on the Drury University campus. This is poking around column number 557. So we've read the last two, I think, columns. Back to Pat.
Okay. Well, we messed up, ma'am. We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, and adaptive technology training videos and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. Okay, in Branson, a $30 million Margaritaville resort is coming. The Margarita Resort is making its way to Branson. The development is a $30 million project, said Lily Love of Vietti Marketing Group, speaking on behalf of MRG Development. She said the resort, called Margaritaville Vacation Suites Branson, takes over the former Red Lion Inn and Suites at 1420 West 76th Country Boulevard. The property has been gutted as part of the construction process, Love said. Phase 1 of the project is slated for completion by year's end, said Amy Hemphill, sales coordinator with MRG Development. Margaritaville Vacation Suites Branson will have 76 one-bedroom suites and 25 two-bedroom suites, according to a news release. Designed for extended stays, the suites are available for ownership starting at $219,000 for one bedroom and $339,900 for two-bedroom units. Owners of the units can put them into a rental pool for use by the general public, said Love. We are excited to introduce Margaritaville Vacation Suites to Branson, delivering a product that blends lifestyle, location, and accessibility, said Mark Mathis of MRG Development on the release. This project brings a fresh, modern hospitality experience to the Strip while giving buyers the opportunity to own a piece of a brand they already know and love. Granite Construction is serving as general contractor for the development, which will employ approximately 50 people, Hemphill said. The Margaritaville brand has more than 40 lodging locations and over 20 projects in the pipeline. The release states existing locations near Branson include Osage Beach and Kansas City, Kansas, according to the company's website. Back in Springfield, Drury University has been named in a lawsuit by a former employee. Drury University and a school leader have been named in a lawsuit filed by a former employee. Plaintiff Lloyd Marshall alleges in the lawsuit that he was retaliated against by Alex Riddle, the school's executive manager of the facilities department, according to the May 20th lawsuit filed in Greene County Circuit Court. Riddle is also named in the lawsuit as a defendant. According to the lawsuit, Marshall was able to hire at least 6 full-time groundskeepers and 6 student employees. Marshall alleges Riddle said, "Women are nothing but trouble," about a woman in her 20s who was hired, and he also made comments about a black man who later was discharged. Additionally, the female employee later reported allegations of sexual harassment by Riddle. Marshall alleges he faced retaliation for speaking up on the issues. In addition to reducing plaintiff's job duties, Riddle also began a campaign against the plaintiff to encourage him to resign, including complaining about the quality of his work, saying negative things about him, routinely yelling at him, and generally treating him poorly, the lawsuit reads. Marshall was later discharged, according to the lawsuit. Drury declined to comment on the lawsuit. Marshall is represented by Ash Law, LLC. Attorneys have not been listed for Drury in the case as of deadline. In the lawsuit, Marshall is seeking more than $25,000 in damages. Riddle was hired by Drury University in March of 2023, according to past reporting. He has owned and operated a family ranch in Carthage and previously worked for several manufacturers. Matt.
Okay. From Springfield Daily Citizen, we've got an article here. Just a sec. It is. Annie's frozen custard rethinks new Springfield headquarters may move operation to KC. Andy's Frozen Custard may not move ahead in constructing new company headquarters in East Springfield, CEO Andy Kuntz said May 28th. Even due to rising development costs, the frozen dessert company is examining other options for the site and its new headquarters that would not be as cost-heavy as new construction, including purchasing an existing building in neighboring towns like Republic, Kuntz said. The company is considering moving its headquarters as far away as Kansas City, where Andy's has an established and growing footprint, Kuntz said. In 2022, Andy's purchased a 10-acre plot of land on northeast corner of East Division Street and North County Road on east side of Highway 65 to develop a new company headquarters. In late 2023, Kuntz told the Daily Citizen that he expected the new headquarters to be completed by 2026. The plan has changed as it estimated the cost of the development has increased by about 30 to 40%, Kuntz said. High interest rates coupled with rising material and labor costs have stalled development, according to across the country. It's just the cost of this thing is skyrocketing above what we thought it was going to be, and we just need to figure out a way if this is going to make sense or not, or if we'd be better off to buy an existing building somewhere, Kuntz told the Daily Citizen on May 28th. Building project plan filed with city for single-story office. Though Kuntz said the company is rethinking, or reevaluating, I think it's headquarters site. Andy's filed a building project plan on May 26, 2026 with the city of Springfield to construct a single-story office building on the site of East Division. The project's declared value was $12 million. Records of the city show the building project plan is in the review stage. Despite the filing this week, Kuntz said it's not an indication that work is imminent or Andy's is settled on that site. Andy's purchased the 10-acre plot of land at 1620 North County Road and 3837 East Division Street in July 2022 through White Shirts Limited, I think it was. Or White Shirts Limited, I guess. Is registered to Kuntz according to the Greene County Assessor's Office records. The land was acquired from Larry L. Clark Trust, and indeed trust were let's see, 726 or whatever, was recorded at the time of purchase, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. The dessert company is outgrowing its current headquarters in downtown Springfield, located in the 18,000 square foot building at 211 East Walnut Street, Kuntz said. And he started leasing that space in 2016 from the McQuarrie family through McQuarrie's LLC for undisclosed terms, according to previous Daily Citizen reporting. We don't have enough room where we're currently at, and we don't own the building, Kuntz said. We would like to own our own headquarters. The increased cost of construction new headquarters from the ground up has caused Andy's to reevaluate the plan. I'll be honest, all possibilities are on the table, whether it's another existing building in Springfield or whether it's pick another site in, Republic, Kuntz said. Going to Kansas City. The CEO said there has been internal conversations about moving operations to Kansas City. In a late 2023 interview, Kuntz said the company had not really considered having a headquarters anywhere other than Springfield. We even have had talks about moving some people out of our operation to Kansas City, Kuntz said, May 28th. We spent a lot of time there. Some of our people are actually in Kansas City, and so we have 15 stores in the market now, and so there's even talks of that. My preference would be to build here and keep it in Springfield, but it just kind of makes sense. The company's growth skyrocketed since its debut nearly 4 decades ago, with locations in 15 states. Annie's Frozen Custard is the world's largest dessert-only franchise, according to the company website. The current company headquarters in downtown Springfield is housed in an early 20th century building with rules of character throughout, including a 14-foot ice cream cone in the middle of the building. At the end of the day, it's an office, and I want it to be great, and I want it to be cool and a great place for people to come to work every day, Kuntz said. I'm just trying to figure out how that's going to work. And that is the end of that particular article about Andy's. Back to Pat.
Well, if you if you woke up grouchy this morning, here's the reason why. June 1st is Oscar the Grouch Day. Oscar the Grouch Day is celebrated on June 1st, which is also the birthday of Oscar the Grouch. He is a fictional character who lives in a trash can on Sesame Street with a green body and no visible nose. Oscar does not know what it means to have a happy birthday and believes that the best thing about birthdays is that you don't have to celebrate them again for a whole year. It was Sesame Street episode 3866 that revealed Oscar's birthday is on June 1st. The Oscar Grouch puppet was made by Muppets Inc. for the children's television show Sesame Street, which began to air in 1969. With 51 seasons to its name, the show has become one of the most iconic television shows. What inspired Jim Henson, one of the creators of Sesame Street, to come up with Oscar the Grouch was a rude waiter at a restaurant called Oscar's Salt of the Sea. In his original sketch, Oscar was a grumpy-looking, spiky monster in magenta. However, the technological limitations of the time made him redesign Oscar with orange fur before his premiere in 1969. Oscar got his green color during the second season. In that show, he said that he turned green after spending his vacation at Swamp Mushy Muddy, where it was very damp, which made him moldy and slimy. According to author Robert Morrow in his book Sesame Street and the Reform of Children's Television, Oscar the Grouch was created to showcase ethnic and racial diversity. His tastes and manners were different from the other characters in the show. The differences were used by the creators as a metaphor for racial differences to address social issues. In its early years, young, enthusiastic Sesame Street viewers mailed gifts of trash to Oscar the Grouch via the Children's Television Workshop. It also included a box of old sneakers, an old bathing cap, and stale poppy seeds. "Don't bang on my can, go away," was Oscar's first line in episode 1 of Sesame Street. Remains the epitome of his personality more than 50 years later. Also, today in this month, today, we celebrate the beginning of the British Tomato Fortnight. It's celebrated for 14 days annually. Celebration starts June 1st to June 14th this year. Some other rather practical events. We have Food Safety Week and National CPR and AED Awareness Week. National CPR and AED Awareness Week runs June 1st through June 7th and aims to stress the importance of these actions to as many people as possible. Learning and mastering cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR techniques, and automated external defibrillator, AED, use so that they can become lifelines for those who have experienced sudden medical emergencies is an honorable thing to do. The campaign also places importance on the actions of bystanders in helping deal with such emergencies and the knowledge of these methods. This is also the beginning of America the Beautiful Week. Is marked the first full week of June to honor the song America the Beautiful and celebrate all patriotic Americans. This week is held from June 1st through 7th. Can you imagine that the lyrics and the composer of America the Beautiful never met before they died? This reverent song was composed by Catherine Lee Bates and organist and composer Samuel Ward. The song was a top contender for the United States official anthem and favored over Star Spangled Banner, but the latter was chosen as the national anthem in 1931. Other celebrations or special dates this month are, as soon as my computer decides to catch up with me, and that's not happening. Here we go. June 1st, our holidays are, and it's scooted ahead to the 3rd, which irritates me. It is Global Day of Parents, June 1st. In 2012, the UN General Assembly declared the first ever Global Day of Parents. Since then, it has been held annually on June 1st to honor parental bonds around the world. I may have to let you take this back, Matt. This is just not happening. Nope. Give me a minute here.
Interesting days here.
I know. Okay, it is Dare Day. This is a day, if you've ever found yourself in a rut and just want to do something daring or different, today's the day to do it. It is Don't Give Up the Ship Day. I found this one interesting. Don't Give Up the Ship Day. It was set aside to celebrate every year on June 1st in remembrance of the USS Chesapeake's commander, Captain James Lawrence. The day's purpose is to honor the ship's crew and its captain, who refused to surrender the ship to the British and remained on the ship until his death. Although there are different accounts from different sources about the incident, Americans celebrate it as a remarkable display of bravery and gallantry of its naval forces. We said a little bit more about the Chesapeake.
Yeah.
Let's see, wait a minute, here we go. The USS Chesapeake was a naval war frigate intended to carry 40 guns and was one of 6 frigates readied under the Naval Act of 1794. The short career of the ship started from the quasi-war with France in 1799 without any action since its launch. The ship was assigned to Master Commander Charles Gordon in 1807. First assignment was to relieve the existing ship in the Mediterranean Sea for patrol. In 1807, the Chesapeake left for Virginia from Washington, and as this news reached the British, a plan was devised to intercept it on the way near Boston. The British ships, led by HMS Leopard, which provided a blockade to French ships at the time, intercepted the Chesapeake at sea. The lieutenant of Leopard asked to search the Chesapeake. The Leopard asked to search the Chesapeake for deserters, which was refused. The moment the lieutenant unboarded the ship, Leopard started firing at it as per the plan. In the ensuing battle, the Chesapeake suffered heavily being unarmed. After the court-martial of the commanding officer, Captain James Lawrence became the new captain in May 1813. In his initial successes, he managed to capture 5 British merchant ships using the Chesapeake. Within days, he was challenged by HMS Shannon, commanded by Captain Philip Broke. The Chesapeake was attacked from all directions, and the ship became a battlefield as British soldiers boarded the ship. In the heavy fighting that ensued, around 72 people were killed, including the fatally injured captain of the Chesapeake, James Lawrence. Despite all the losses and his own injuries, the captain remained dauntless and gave his famous orders, "Don't give up the ship," before finally succumbing to his injuries, after which the Chesapeake was taken over by the British on June 1st, 1813. And that was from his History Today. So,
I
yeah.
didn't know about that one.
Huh?
I didn't know about that.
Well, let's see here. Yeah. Well, we've got more coming here. This is also National Barefoot Day. International Children's Day. I've already mentioned Dr. Heimlich.
Yep.
It is National Heimlich Maneuver Day. Doesn't mean go out and do that to somebody, but remember it should the need arise. National Hazelnut Cake Day, National Nail Polish Day, National Pen Pal Day, this one is good, New Year's Resolution Recommitment Day. New Year's Resolution Recommitment Day is celebrated on June 1st each year. You'll notice this is the 6th month, placing this holiday halfway through the year. It's a time to take a step back and study your resolutions, the progress you've made so far, and the actions you'll take to keep moving forward, because most people abandon their New Year's resolutions shortly after making them. This holiday is an excellent way to keep track of your efforts. It's also a refresher for those whose resolutions have fallen by the wayside. The custom of New Year's resolutions come from ancient Babylon. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Over 4,000 years ago, Babylonians celebrated their New Year's in mid-March, coinciding with their crop planting season. The Babylonian holiday of Akitu took place over 12 days. Part of this festivities included crowning a new king or the people affirming their loyalties to the ruling monarch. Babylonians also made oaths to their gods, swearing to repay debts and return any borrowed items. They believed that failing to uphold these oaths could invite misfortune. The wrath of the gods, while keeping their word, would bring them blessings. The promises made during Akitu are the first recorded instances of New Year's resolutions. Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, Matt.
Kind of maybe a lighthearted thing to end the time here. Springfield veteran avoids a potential scam, gets free roof after hail damage. Alex Roofing and Restoration provided Randy Craig with a new roof after hearing about his frustrating experience following the April 28th hailstorm. I had clicked on it. Just a second. Perhaps I have not done so. Just a second here. I want to click on it. See if I can do so. I think I already am. I'm not sure. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Let me see. Did I put it in mode I need it in?
I mean, it's there.
Okay, I just there. Okay. It is in there. Let me try to get to what I need then.
No, just scroll down, I think.
Usually it doesn't do it this way.
No?
It's disappeared. What is going on? Well, I was going to read that. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it's in that
May
mode.
I use your mouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Not sure why it's misbehaving itself.
We'll see if this does it. May not. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely in
I'm
it.
sorry.
It's fine. I'll see if I can get it to work. Maybe I didn't click the right one. That must be what happened. Well, I was going to read that, but maybe I won't. Let's see if I can find it. I was hoping to read this one,
Here we
guys.
go. There's one. Is that it?
The one with the hailstorm, yeah.
Uh-huh. And maybe, did you read the article?
No.
Did you actually see it, I mean?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. I don't see where it is now.
Click it.
Yeah, it should be right here, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
That should do it now. Okay, let's see.
No, same thing.
Dang it. Huh. Maybe that's all it was. Okay, well.
Okay.
Regardless, he got a free roof. I would like to know what the scam was, but
Okay.
I guess I'm not going to find out.
And that was out of, that was in what?
Daily
The
Citizen.
Daily Citizen? Let me see if I can.
Maybe Pat can find it here for us.
We'll see.
Close it
Is
out
it?
here.
Well, I am not moving at all, so maybe we've got the same problem here. Maybe that's the problem.
I don't know, but.
We'll see. See if I can find it.
Yeah, that's it. It just kind of ends.
That was Daily Citizen.
Yeah, I forget where it was.
Now I have 5 open tabs. Let's see.
Oh, I think it mailed it. Maybe did I? I'm not sure if I found
No,
it or not.
same thing.
Oh, no, just talking about it. Okay. I said I had found it, guys.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I did not find it for some reason.
I'm going to do this for you, okay?
Yeah.
All right, because I want you to read this one.
Yeah, maybe, I guess maybe.
Where's my mouse? Where's your mouse? Here we go.
Strange that it just doesn't seem to all be there.
You know what, maybe, I wonder if this article is not going to do that for you.
It may not.
Maybe get back to it. Oh, here we go. There you go.
Okay.
Read about the, it's not quite at the top. I can get it there for you.
It's not even like.
There.
Okay. Okay. I found it. Okay. I guess it doesn't.
But you
It doesn't. I guess it doesn't like that mode, guys.
But
Okay.
you only have 4 minutes.
After April says hail tore through North Springfield on May 28th, Craig, a 66-year-old U.S. Navy veteran, was left with holes in the roof of his house and damage to the windshield of his food truck. Craig said he almost fell victim to potential scammers going door to door after the storm, but his story had a happy ending last week when Alex Roofing Restoration installed a new roof free of charge. In the days following the storm, Craig said he was visited at home in the 2500 block of North Franklin Avenue in Springfield by men who said they were with a roofing company. They offered to patch his roof for a price of looks like $800. Looks like Craig became suspicious about the roofers when they didn't bring a broom to do the job. So he offered them one which he said they took and barely used. Craig said that he saw the workers putting their ladder up and starting to leave after only 10 to 15 minutes. After climbing up a ladder himself, he said he saw they hadn't done the work agreed to. After Craig told the roofers he wasn't paying, he said the roofers didn't put up a fight and left. Craig made a Facebook post about his frustrating experience. Chris DePalma of the Alex Roofing and Restoration saw Craig's post and reached out, offering to give a free inspection. After looking at the mess the other roofers had left, DePalma and his partner decided to patch up Craig's roof themselves, and after refusing to let Craig pay them for the work. After hearing more about Craig's Navy service, disability, and limited income, DePalma asked his bosses at Apex Roofing or Apex whether they could provide a new roof free of charge. On May 26th, Craig's brand new roof was put on when Craig was asked about the experience from dealing with potential scammers receiving a free roof. He said he felt thankful. He added that it had been about 35 years since he'd replaced the roof. Todd Springfield, the chief sales officer at Apex Roofing and Restoration, was at the roof installation. He said a job like this would normally have cost around looks like 11,000 to 15,000. Special said, money is one thing, but helping others is what it's about. I think that's the end of that one.
Very quickly, this is out of Marshfield, and because this gentleman was known personally. Franklin D. Lewis passed away peacefully on May 23rd in Springfield. D married his high school sweetheart and love of his life, Donna Laverne Haggard Lewis. D accepted the position of Marshfield School band director in 1957. He made an impact by developing a robust summer band program and was a teacher there for 29 years, or band leader there for 29 years. Services will be June 9th in Marshfield. Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, to the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed